What's going on, everybody? UFC 321 just wrapped up a few hours ago, and I figured we go through the card here over the post-fight reactions and recap the event, going through our picks, seeing how many we got right and wrong, talking about the controversies of tonight and the good fights of tonight as well. But we'll go ahead and get started with the early prelim opener: Jacqueline Amorim versus Mizuki Inoue. We got this wrong. 0-1. I thought that Mizuki's 2 years off and lesser quality opponents with decisions were going to carry over into this fight. I don't know what she was on, but it was demon timing. She was just a step ahead of Amorim from the second the bell rung. I mean, obviously the reversals and the sub attempts favor Amorim, but I mean, and the takedowns are relatively the same. But the strikes just favor Mizuki, especially the significant ones. She even got a knockdown in this fight. And it seems like she was doing good in the grappling when it needed to happen. She was just overall too much for Amorim. Not something I expected. Not after 2 years off. Definitely caught up by that. But not starting the card great, I'll be honest. But we'll move on to Azat Mascom versus Mitch Raposo. We got this wrong. They got this one wrong as well. 0-2 on the card. Yeah, Azat didn't look good. There wasn't that many strikes in this fight. There's a lot of wrestling, but he couldn't do much with it, and Mitch was quick to get up when needed. 19-30 favoring Mitch, and Mitch was definitely landing the better shots, if I'm not mistaken as well. While it was a really close fight, Azat grabbed the cage during a pretty pivotal position change, and Goddard, I think was the ref, he'd recognized it, called it out, and took a point. The reffing was really on tonight. Took a point off of Azat Mascom, and I guaranteed Mitch Raposo the decision. I still think he would have won a split maybe, having, escaped the grappling and not really being put in any sub attempts, but having a lot better success on the feet. I think even the significant strikes he was landing were more significant than the significant ones that Azat were. But we got this wrong, but shout out Mitch Raposo. Looked good out there. Definitely didn't think he would do that, but he did it. Props to him. We move on. Hamdi Abdelwahab versus Chris Barnett. We got this right. First fight we got right. We're 1-2 on the card. But this was a piss poor excuse for heavyweight talent. Obviously, Hamdi was on tonight, throwing these pitter-patter shots, back of the head shots. I think he got warned, but I don't think... Or no, he got a point taken. He did get a point taken, but he whooped Barnett's ass, man. Barnett just kept getting taken down. Too fat to control his base, I guess. Every time he got taken down, he screamed like his knee had exploded all over again because he was coming in off of a year or two layoff from extensive knee surgery when he exploded it for jumping. That's how big he is. But Hamdi was on tonight, man. Struck when he wanted to, but he was pretty much looking for that takedown every time, and he would just ride Chris Barnett out, whether it be in some half guard variation or just standing behind him with the back. But he didn't have any finishing instinct. Any dangerous shots he threw were just to the back of the head. He didn't go for really any submission threat. He didn't even try to get his hooks in. He would just keep Chris Barnett crawling forward, and he would just stay behind him and shovel these baby punches to make sure that they didn't get stood up every 5 seconds. It really was not a good fight from the winning man. I'll be honest, I don't really think he'll have much for this division. Not to mention, I think he's quite old. He's mid-30s. And at heavyweight, I guess you can stick around a bit longer, but not for championship potential. But we got it right. I'm a bit disappointed in Hamdi's performance. But moving up the card, we're looking at Nathaniel Wood versus Jose Miguel Delgado. This is another one we got right. But a lot of people found it pretty controversial. Hold on, let me take a sip of water. Refreshing. Yeah, I get it, but I thought Nathaniel won. Round 1, I think that was, if I'm not mistaken, where is it at? Okay, it was, yes. So round 1, Delgado's putting it on him. He's putting that pepper on him. He's landing nice shots down the middle, snapping Nathaniel's head back. I think pretty early in the round he busted up his nose and was bleeding badly, and he carried out for the rest of the fight with that. He even dropped him at one point. Nasty. He was really hurt, but he was able to survive, clinging on for dear life on bottom position. But it worked. I think he got back up And then he dropped Delgado later in that round. It wasn't as good, like as damaging as Delgado's was, but it still evened it up pretty close on the scorecards. I think they definitely did favor Delgado in this one, though. Actually, yeah, I think they did because the 2 rounds they gave to, yeah. So round 1 was really Delgado's round, despite him also getting knocked down, just because he was out, pacing him with the strikes and damage. And the blood, busted nose, it's not a good look. But round 2 and round 3, Nathaniel starts to implement the grappling. And he's striking on the feet and on the ground, and he's looking good. Delgado was keeping up with him, giving him things to worry about, causing a bit of damage here and there. But Nathaniel was able to edge it out, I think, round by round, within 2 and 3. He did the right things. He got a takedown, made sure to beat him on the strikes there. Same thing in the next round. I think he barely beat him on the significant strikes. Sorry, I've been burping. I had a soda earlier. But, again, he landed the takedowns he needed to. He stuffed whatever Delgado tried to throw his way, and that's a good look to the judges. And he got it done. So, 2 and 2 on the card. Feeling good. I don't think I went too well this card, but for a first one, at least we're not in the negative yet. Moving on. Walter Walker versus Louis Sutherland. This was a banger. Why is this guy here? I must have clicked on his name. This is a banger. A lot of people didn't know Louis Sutherland coming into this. Myself included. He's former Bellator champ. Definitely looked like he came off the sauce when he got into the UFC, but I think he was talking pretty crazy before this fight, making some content about it. But who cares, brother? Walter Walker. Walter fucking Walter. Dude, it was glorious. I was a bit scared, though. So round 1, which is the only round, they started on the feet. And I think Walter went for a lazy-ass shot, and he got it stuffed, or Louis just got away from it. It didn't look good. But he was like, no biggie, I'll get it. So they're striking. I think they're laying on each other. How many strikes were there? Yeah, 10 combined. So not much, maybe an exchange or 2. And then I want to say Walter, drives through him and gets a pretty nasty takedown, I think. Gets him against the cage. They end up in this half guard variation. But with Walter Walker on top and being in half guard, it's easy to immediately sit back into the heel hook position and shoot the De La Riva grip over with your foot on that side. And that's exactly what Walter Walker did. He shot that grip over and immediately looked to capture the heel. Louis did the right thing by rolling with the submission, but he was only able to get 1 full rotation through before he was sat on his ass. And Walter just ripped that shit. I mean, Usmar Paul Juarez style. And got the tap. The signature submission. He goes home with another foot. This is glorious. I think he's going to be pretty good. Maybe not champ material, but he'll be a pretty good top 10, top 15 defender. He could prove me wrong, though. He's still pretty young in the UFC, but he called out Hamdi Abdelwahab and called Chris Barnett a chocolate Peppa Pig, which is kind of crazy. But I don't like that call out. I mean, he was terrible, and he's below you in the rankings, if I'm not mistaken, so why would you want that? Maybe he wants another easy win? But I think he should get someone in the top 15 where he is, maybe even spot 6 through spot 10. I think he's got the skill to hang there. Maybe not top 5 material, but we'll see what happens. But shout out Walter Walker. He got that. Puts us at 3-2 on the card so far. We move on. Ludovit Klein versus Mateusz Rebecki. Cinema. This fight was absolute cinema, to say the least. First 2 rounds were about the same. Mateusz was walking forward like he usually does. He got some takedowns as well. But Ludovit was really landing the better shots. He even was landing shots that weren't knocking him down, knocking Rebecki down, but they were actively stunning him on the feet. He was jolting back with his arms up in the air, trying to keep equilibrium because he was getting jelly-legged, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, round 1 and round 2, great. Round 1 and round 2, great rounds for Ludovit Klein. Definitely winning on the strikes, and whatever takedowns Mateusz got didn't really seem to worry Klein. But it was in round 3 that Mateusz Rebecki went for a takedown, and Ludovit Klein's foot and knee twisted counterintuitively. I don't want to say intuitively because that means a brain thing, but they twisted in opposite ways of each other, and you could see Ludovit Klein's ankle snap out of place as his weight just collapsed onto his foot and the pain in his face. But it snapped back over and kind of went back into some like place similar to what it was before, and he just held on for dear life on bottom position for this round. He was definitely getting hit with some nasty ground and pound. These like overhead downward forearm elbow strikes from Rebecki were really starting to scare me when Clown was taking like 8 or 9 of them. But he thugged it out. He stayed busy on bottom, just avoiding damage. You can see the strikes were just train from Rebecki, just raining down shots on him. But he survived it, and we get to the end of the fight, and even though the body language wasn't good, I don't think that should matter, unless it's like a stupid close fight, but this wasn't. Round 2, round 1 were Klein, and due to a freak injury, he had a pretty bad round 3, but no 10-8, there was no knockdown, there was no crazy thing, and Mateus was the one covered in cuts and blood at moments in the fight, and whatever blood was on Ludovic was, for the most part, from Rebecki, which is disgusting. But it was a great fight. I agree with the decision. We got it right. Puts us 1, 2, 3, 4. I think 4-2 on the card. Pretty good so far. But we'll move on. 2. Ikram Aliskerov versus Jung Young Park. We got this right. So that puts us at 5-2, if I'm not mistaken. Good fight. Close, but good fight. I was watching this while at dinner. Pretty good. Jung Young looked good in moments, and I kind of was favoring him, but it seemed like anytime some like major adversity or tide was starting to favor Park, Aliskerov would just get the takedown. He looked gassed for most of the fight. He was taking big breaths between exchanges. He was sweating so much you could kind of see like his entire scalp, and I don't even think he's balding, so he was feeling the pressure. His body was wearing it. But he got takedowns at the right times. He tried to do what he could do. I don't think he got any real sub attempts, but nobody really got any attempts or knockdowns. Park was just a step behind. He would try to go for some sloppy exchange, leave his hips open, get taken down, fight his way back up, have another good exchange, but then get taken right back down. It was just one of those fights. But we got it right, baby. I think that puts us at 5-2. Good fight. I feel bad for Park, but it is what it is. We move on. Nasrat Haqparast versus Quillian Salkilde. I've never been more happy to get a pick wrong. Quillian Salkilde hit a nasty, just textbook head high kick. Nasrat went to block low, trying to carry the leg down as if it was going to be a body shot, or maybe he could hit it on the way up from it being a head kick, but wrong place, wrong time, and out cold for minutes on end. I wasn't able to hear the audio, but I don't know how long it took before Haqparast came to, because he was out. But it wasn't a good-looking start. I mean, the strikes were pretty similar. It looked like Nasrat was doing better. He was more comfortable in there. He was shuffling around. Quillian was kind of timid, trying to really calculate where he wanted to be for his shots. And the takedowns he did go for were just out in the open, not set up for it, and that really did worry me. Because I like Salkilde, even though I picked Haqparast, but I was like, dude, he doesn't look like he has much on the feet for Haqparast right now. And 4 of his takedowns haven't even been stuffed. They've been completely just dodged. Like he doesn't do any setup. They're very visible, and Haqparast is a veteran for the most part, 18-5 record. He's been around. He can see when a guy's going for a shot. I think the most setup that Quillian did was like a little overhand right motion, so Nasrat would raise his hand, and maybe the double leg would come through, but it didn't. But who cares? Because he just chucked that leg up after setting it up, and Haqparast blocked the wrong way, and next thing he knew, he was probably waking up in like the hospital, I'll be honest. But a beautiful, beautiful win from Quillian Salkilde. I don't know what's next for him. Maybe someone around Haqparast rankings, maybe like within the top 15 at most. I thought this was a pretty big jump, and I made a mistake in my last video saying that his last one was Anshul Jabli. I was wrong. I remembered it after I posted it. I don't remember his name, but he had like a close fight with a guy before that, and he was really gassing and was relying on his wrestling to win, but was like struggle wrestling, like barely hanging on. Sometimes his opponent would reverse or get up, and he was just surviving, but he got it done. That's embarrassing voice crack. But yeah, I believe in Quillian Salkilde now. I've been on the hype train, but this really solidified it that he can finish at the higher level. We'd yet to seen it, and I just thought this would be too big of a jump. But I want another fight around this area for him. I don't want another massive jump into a top 10 matchup because I still think that he's pretty green to the ring. I think he's 10-1 after this fight. 10-fight win streak, very impressive from him. But I'd really like him as a prospect, and I just don't want to rush it because the UFC has a huge problem with rushing prospects. But great fight. I think for the prelims, 8 bouts? So it's 0-1, 0-2, 2-2, 3-2, 4-2, 5-2, 6-2. We end the prelims, sorry, not 6-2, 5-3. We end the prelims going 5-3. Move on to the main card. Alexander Rakic versus Azamat Murzakanov. We're now at 5-4, ladies and gentlemen. I thought Rakic losing his last 3 to the best in the division for the most part would mean that there's levels and he just wasn't at their level, but he was at a level close to them. But no, Azamat's good. Maybe Rakic is a bit chinny, and I think he's close to the end for him. And Azamat's boxing is filthy, and he's undefeated. So I'm an idiot. But it was a quick fight. I mean, you see 3 minutes. I guess Rakic was landing a bit more. I wasn't even able to see this fight. I was driving home and the Wi-Fi was too bad for the totally legal stream that I purchased to load. And I come back in and Azamat's like hugging Alexander and then he's celebrating. So I'm like, oh, Azamat won. And then I see a replay. Azamat, as Rakic goes for this like little inside jolt, maybe to start a blitz or to feint or like commit to a little hook and like push off. Azamat just beats him there with a straight right jab down the pipe, but he transitions it down his forearm, almost to his elbow, not quite, but just kind of like bows that off of Rakic's like right in the nose and chin, if I'm not mistaken, and it just dropped him flat on his ass. I think he was looking up for a second, like, am I about to fight back? But Azamat landed a shot or a few, and the ref had just seen enough and stopped it there. Great fight from Azamat. He's good. He's proven. I'd love to see him versus a Khalil Rountree next. That matchup is what's been springing to mind after this fight. I really think that'd be a fun fight. They're both guys who are patient in their art but look for that one damaging shot, and I think when two guys are looking for that, that could be very fun, especially if those guys aren't known for takedowns, especially Khalil. But great fight for Azamat. I mean, I think that puts us at 5-3. I could be wrong, but yeah, it was a good fight. I just feel bad for Rakic though. I really thought he still had it in him, but I don't want to say he's washed because that takes away from Azamat when Azamat is good. But I just don't think Alexander Rakic is like the same after this string of losses. He's 0-4. And I think he did sign a contract recently with the UFC, like renewed one. But he's got to win these next however many fights are on his contract. Otherwise, I think they'll cut him after one more. Because Azamat's undefeated. He knocks out a bunch of people. I think they'll cut him some slack for that. Like, we gave you a killer and you got killed. Maybe they'll throw him a can. But if you can't get it done there, that might be it for Rakic in the UFC. But great win for Azamat Murzakanov. I think that's 5-3. We move on. Alexander Volkov versus Jailton Almeida. I love this. This was not a robbery. And if it was, worth it. Alexander Volkov starts the round, gets taken down damn near immediately. But halfway through it, gets a pretty good reversal. I don't remember. I think he, using his long limbs, it was some half guard variation or he was shrimping away. And he was able to shift the hips and come up top and put Jailton on bottom. And he didn't waste time, unlike Jailton, who just thought he was showing up for a grappling tournament. He was throwing strikes. Whether they were pitter-patter or big, because he was throwing some nasty elbows. Goddard was getting onto him by back of the head shots, which the refs were on tonight out taking points. He was doing damage. And the other rounds went pretty much the same. It would be maybe a little bit of striking in exchange, but Jailton would usually finish it by getting the takedown. Volkov would defend well. Jailton wouldn't do anything. No sub-threat. No ground and pound. He would sit in half guard until Mark Goddard stood him up. I don't know what he was thinking. Negative fight IQ. Round 3, though, Volkov gets a reversal, and just lands. And even when he was standing, he pushed him up against Cage and had like some knee in the thigh clinch moments, and I think that swayed the judges. And I don't think this was a split decision. The only person who gave it to Almeida was Mike Bell, who is known for not the greatest scorecard. So, close fight maybe, but womp womp Jailton. It's an MMA fight. You have to throw a strike. Damage triumphs control regardless of what's going on. And 123-27 doesn't look good to anybody. So, I mean, yeah, great fight. Proud of Volkov for getting it done. Yeah. I think that puts us at 6-3, but we move up. Umar Nurmagomedov versus Mario Batista. This was a good fight. I got it right, so it puts us at 7-3. I'm probably wrong at everything I'm saying throughout this entire video. I'm very tired. This was a good fight. Round 1, Umar just puts a clinic on Batista. He gets the takedown almost immediately, and he's just on him, right? But about halfway or late in the round, I can't quite remember, Mario gets up. And I think within just going for an exchange, he throws a filthy knee and knocks down Umar, which is crazy. Even though Umar's been dropped once before in his fight, like, that's really good. Like, that Merab couldn't do it, but you were able to do it. And I think before that, too, in the grappling, he got a disgusting toe hold. But I think Umar just didn't want to tap to. I think it was completely on, and he probably has some very strained, if not torn, ligaments, because his ankle was almost 90 degrees. But, yeah, he not only got a knockdown, but had a really deep submission thread against Umar's striking and his control time on the ground, which is why I don't kind of agree with 30-27. I want a 29-28, because I feel like it's a bit pre-written scorecard based on home country advantage, or just, you know, home people advantage, but like, I understand these rounds going to Umar clear as day, but I don't understand how having a good round, striking-wise and grappling-wise, can triumph a deep submission attempt and a knockdown. I just want consistency in judging. I picked Umar. I'm happy he won. I knew he would get the win. But another thing, actually, he doesn't deserve a shot. I don't think a win over Mario Batista should give you a shot, especially if Mario wasn't going to get a shot after this. No way he was. I take that back. Maybe he would have. Umar was a guy to make it close with Merab, but Umar got one ranked win over Sandhagen, had the closest fight with Merab, but that doesn't dictate infinite title shots. Even though it probably does, I don't think it should. Umar was saying that he should get to fight Merab next, and I don't think that you go on one ranked win, you get a title shot, you lose that gifted title shot, and then another ranked win just gets you another one. I don't like that. It sets a bad precedent for people thinking that one fight win streaks get a title shot. Like Gaethje, and I would have made a video on that, but there wasn't enough content in the week. But I don't like this culture of if I get one ranked win, when I'm coming off of a loss, I'm next. Like Usman. Usman was 0-3. Granted, they're against killers, but 0-3. Gets a decision win over Buckley and goes, I'm next at 170. Like, no. We need consistency. We need you to build a resume. Show that you got it. Like, it's so annoying when they just like, I'm just going to wait. It's disgusting, but not to get too off topic, Umar got the win. And I'm happy about it. But I think he needs one more. And I don't think that's crazy. But we'll see what happens. Umar's got a fight. Not Umar. Merab's got a fight in December against, Peter Yan. Jesus, why did I take so long to remember that? He's got a fight against Peter Yan. We'll see how that goes. If it's another complete shutout domination, I guess you got to give it to Umar because he had the closest fight. And we need to get Merab out of there before bantamweight is ruined completely. I do like Merab, but, like, something's got to happen, bro. Come on. But if it's a close fight with Peter, I don't know. I think fighters would be starting to figure out Merab's game and take notes off of these fights. And I want to see some fresh matchups against Merab. I don't want to see an Umar coming off a one-ranked win rematch. It's just not as entertaining and compelling. Even when we saw that, despite a really good start against Merab only gets better. He looked better against Sandhagen. He was actually able to hurt him with his hands. So it could be one of those instances of, here's another title shot. Oh no, Merab's really good. And he decisively whoops your ass. And all of a sudden, nobody wants to give you a title shot until you put it another 3 or 4 wins together because you abused and overused those title shot gifts. But I'll silence there. I'm starting to lose my voice here. We move on to the co-main event. Virna Jandiroba versus Mackenzie Dern. I got this wrong. I think that puts us somewhere in the realm of 7-5, something like that. I don't know. I don't know why I'm counting so intently, like it matters at all. I didn't do good on this card in anyone's eyes, but I didn't really watch this fight too strongly, but it looked like, your standard MMA, WMMA championship fight. A close fight nonetheless. Dern got the win again. Let me take one more sip of water, sorry. That's good. But Dern got the win again. Outstruck her, even the significant strikes, even though they were a bit closer. An insane amount of grappling from Virna, and I didn't really watch it, so I don't know if it was like controlled grappling where you could argue like a robbery or that she should have won, or if it was just like scrambling that maybe Virna had started the takedown, so therefore she got it, and Mackenzie was able to thrive with it and then get up and just land strikes. Either way, I'm happy for Mackenzie. I don't know what's going to happen now because with Valentina vacating this division and champions not being allowed to carry 2 belts anymore, this is a title fight that should have never happened, but it did, and I don't know what's next. But whatever, we got to talk about the, I don't even want to say elephant, the asteroid in the room. I don't want this guy to get a title shot ever again. Aspinall was not getting whooped. I'm tired of seeing this narrative. It was a close, competitive fight, and Gane was just using a jab, and a jab is going to make your nose bleed. Okay? Tom has never bled. Cool. Look at these significant strikes. 27-30. A 3-strike difference. Granted, Gane's did some more damage because he was using jabs on his nose. But Tom was landing cuffing shots. He was throwing hooks. He threw that funny spinning kick for no reason. He looked like he was having a little too much fun in there. But Gane, being the dirty cheat that he is, known for his back of headshots, and the UFC promo for this fight, he's throwing back of the headshots in his finishes. It's embarrassing. Freaking double eye gouges Aspinall, and it wasn't even like visibly an accident where he was throwing a punch. He was trying to like create air traffic or frame from an exchange, and just kept his fingers out and leaned in and got knuckle deep in Aspinall's both of his eyes. And deeper in his right one because that one completely shut. And it really pisses me off seeing all the people just trying to rage bait, saying that he was like a quitter, or that like Jones and Pereira did with a broken toe. It's like, a toe is different. You got 10 of them mugs. Like, you can afford to have a fucked up one. Like, you have 2 eyes and both of them get like, it's just rage bait. And I know they're joking, but it's like, we need to be more serious about these things, otherwise it goes unpunished. And I don't even know if they would have taken a point off of Gane. But regardless, it was so bad that Aspinall couldn't continue, and you can't just say, oh, he wanted to quit. We saw the cam of the eye poke. We saw how quickly it swelled up. Why would a champion continue to fight if he physically can't see out of his right eye completely and his left eye's puffed up? Like, you're an idiot. And I don't want to see Chael Sonnen and Anthony Smith talk about, oh, he should have continued. Neither of y'all were champs. You know nothing about what it takes at that level. I love you, Chael, in a non-gay way, but use your brain. I understand Anthony being stupid. That dude gets his head beaten every other few months before he retired. But Chael, use whatever brain you have that you used to have amazing trash talk with, and realize that a double eye poke that deep at championship level is not something to brush off and dog out. He can't see. It's not like, I have like a broken toe or something, or I got a really bad low blow, but I can kind of thug it out. You can't see. And he's fighting a striker. He needs to see the punches. He needs to have depth perception. It's ridiculous. But Gane's a dirty fighter, and he shouldn't get a title shot. I hate the idea of a rematch, but we might get it because it's all we have. But maybe give Volkov, give him the rematch, because Aspinall's dogged everybody in this division for the most part. But dude, this is Gane's 3rd title shot, and he blew it. He damn blew it. Fouling Aspinall viciously and giving a half-assed, I'm very sorry, as he's saying, like, just the most nonchalant shit. It's annoying, man. Like, I don't know. We need to see, and people are talking about if they're in good shape and ready for it, put them on the Qatar card. Like, I don't think championship bouts, rematches for that should be that quick. I mean, we'll have to see the medical report from Aspinall, and he'll probably post a YouTube video explaining his intentions on what to do next. But I hate the idea of Gane getting a 4th title shot, regardless of if his initial title shot ended via accident. It's like, 3rd one, and you're eye poking, like, with both fingers. I don't know, man. Like, heavyweight was already shit, and Tom was supposed to be the guy to get it going again because Jones is a terrible champ, and his fans are just annoying, and he'd be like, Jones would have mauled this guy. It's like, oh yeah, because Jones uses eye pokes. Yeah, you're right. But he wouldn't fight him for $30 million. But I digress. It's just a terrible way to end the card. I was so upset. So very upset. Just night ruined. Like, I didn't even want to make this video. I was like, I hate this sport, even though I love it. It's just nights like these where you're like, it's so annoying. But yeah, I don't know what's next, man. I'll probably stay quiet on what's next and not make any stupid videos of ideas that don't make any sense. But from whatever I see coming through the news feed pertaining to this matchup, maybe the Paddy Pimblett situation, because things have been allegedly confirmed to be signed, and what does that mean for Gaethje? What does Arman, the posh boy, have to say about it after he sits out for 2 years? If there's some news this week, I'll do a video covering it. But until then, thank y'all very much for watching. This was a pretty good card. Had some interesting moments. I don't want Gane getting another title shot, and it sucks that Aspinall, after all of this time off and this dedication and this anticipation to come back, he has a tough first round, but I'm sure he would have loved to dog it out and get it back and get the finish and prove the haters wrong. But he can't. He gets double poked in the eye, and the crowd starts booing him. It's pathetic from a fan base. I hate when we go to Abu Dhabi. They're just people who pay for a spectacle. They don't give a darn about UFC and the legitimacy of it and the honesty of it. But I guess, I don't know. That's too philosophical to get into because I sound like I'm screaming into the void. But yeah, I don't know. Divisions need to be shaken up. I'm curious to see how they'll sort this one out. But again, thank y'all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Maybe leave a comment, any video suggestion ideas. I'm probably going to stick to long-form content. I've talked with some of my buddies about doing short-form content, but I think that attracts 2 different audiences, and I really want to attract the audience that appreciates long-form content on UFC, where I can kind of just yap into a microphone like I am right now. Maybe I'll add a face cam later on. Just didn't feel like it today, but again, thank y'all so much for watching. I hope you have a great night, and if you lost money on this card, never give Ciryl a title shot again. Adios.